there.
Hey,
How's
y'all.
it going?
Hey, y'all.
What's wrong? I mean, you get a little excitement in your voice, a little pepper in your step, a little oomph in your.
Baby, I'm tired. Baby, listen. I feel like what's her face? FM tired. FM tired. That's where I'm at. I'm just tired. I'm tired. But hey, y'all. I am definitely very happy to see you all tonight.
It don't sound like it.
It's got to build up. It's got to build up.
Okay.
It's just been one
like
of those. Exactly. It's just been a very long day. And I am happy that it is over. And I am happy that 420 is approaching. I am happy that Easter is here. I am happy that I woke up today. Huh?
Isn't Easter on Sunday?
Well, yeah, but we're so we're coming up on Good Friday, and
I just child, I don't be.
Listen, I think it's Good Friday and Holy Saturday or Happy Saturday or something. I can't remember what it is, but anyway, I'm just excited about all the things about Saturday. I don't know what Saturday was called.
Happy Saturday. I
Holy Saturday. I don't know. I don't know what it was called. But yeah, I'm just kind of like I'm here and I'm running around doing some errands and at work doing some stuff that just got on my nerves. And so it's just showing. So I'm just trying to decompress. And this is how I decompress right now. I'm gonna just be a little but I'm happy to see everybody. Come on, Tyra. It's called Weed Miss Eve. Hey, Grace. Best friend.
And Manga and Lola and Dylan and Tyra.
Hey, Dylan.
Going up. And Grace was online bright and early at 7:43, followed very soon thereafter by Manga.
Yay! Come on, all my besties, show it up.
Yeah.
Hey, Lola. I feel like we haven't. You were in the room last week, but I feel like we didn't chat a lot. Lola, you haven't been chatting with us a lot lately. I don't know. Is it just me? I don't know. What do you think?
Got a J-O-B.
That part.
Because what? Ain't nothing going on but the what?
The motherfucking rent. And I ain't even mad at you, Lola, baby. Go and make that money. Make that money. Don't let that money make you.
Hallelujah.
That's all I got.
So yes. So how was your week, dear? What's got you so tired?
My week was good. I had a lot of good stuff in my week. We did the little community service project thing with Onyx yesterday. We got to hang out at karaoke with a couple of the brothers that came down. So that was always good, sitting around laughing, joking with that. We did the photo shoot, before that. So that was amazing as well. It's been a good week. On the work side, baby, let's just say we're going to start this week off with some of the things that have happened where we had our boss's boss get caught in conversation about people in the office and his descriptions of them.
Like descriptions how?
Oh, that's where the light-skinned one sits. Oh, that's where the fat one sits. Oh, that's where, and I said, and it was heard by one of our staff members, and they came and
I hope it wasn't a fat one.
Well, I couldn't figure out who they were talking about, but said person, in my mind, in my 50 plus years on this earth, or 50 almost soon to be 54 years on this earth, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. One of the girls and his good Judy was having this conversation. I am so glad that I was not the person that was there, Because baby, the way I would have walked out like, oh, the girls want to have a little. We want to share a little spot of tea. Is that what we want to do? Is that what we're doing at this time of the night? Okay, bitches, let's go. But there, so it didn't go that way. But that started off our week, and it wound up getting back to my director because again, I was like, oh, listen, I'm gonna act like I was a 7-year-old schoolgirl. I'm telling on everybody. And I did, and my boss sent it to everybody else, including HR and everything else. So we're still waiting for the repercussions of what's
now. Where is this person in the organization?
This person is the boss of my director, so he has a big title.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
or currently has a big title. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Listen, do we have names for various co-workers? But girl, you gotta be very careful. Like me and my buddy at work, we'll be chatting on Teams and it'll just be one word: text.
Listen.
And then bitch, that whole conversation goes to the text because we don't need no records. We don't need no nothing.
All I know is I had to explain this to one of my coworkers, and I was like, listen, you have a whole entire life outside of this university.
Right.
After 5 o'clock, if you don't think about that person, why the fuck would you care about what they even think about you, even if they were talking about you?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't fucking exist. If you left today or tomorrow, they don't fucking exist. You're not reaching out to them because you're friends with them. You're not. So who? But I get it. Everybody's not at that point. And maybe I'm just old and crotchety. That's where I am. But listen, listen. Manga will co-sign on this, baby. The 3 Fs. If you're not feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, baby, what the fuck is the point? What is the point? What the fuck?
Well, for me, it's a work respect thing, right?
And that's the other piece.
About people like that, then listen, we all talk shit, right? But if you can't even be couth enough to have that conversation offline and not in the office where the light-skinned one and the fat one can hear you, because the light-skinned one, I mean, some people are very sensitive about the color of their skin, but we know a lot of people are sensitive about their weight. And,
right.
To know that people are talking about you like that could just play into whatever your worst self-esteem fears are.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, do we really care? Ultimately, no, because this is just some bitches. But especially when I would be less if it was co-workers. But if this is someone with a big title, then when people start to have attitudes like that, it could start to play, because there's a lot of people who believe that, people of a certain size are less intelligent, because if they were smart, would they have allowed themselves to get that big and, shit like that. So that's why it's a problem for me that is someone with a big title saying shit like that.
It is a big title, but baby, when you take that title away from that person.
This is true, but while they have that big title, they could affect your pay. And that's the problem.
Yes, I get that. I absolutely get that. But again, do I give a fuck about that little motherfucker? I don't give a fuck about that motherfucker. Like, listen, don't let me see. Listen, bitch, I will see you out on the motherfucking streets, baby. I don't listen. I don't really listen.
Like soon as excuse me, me and you got to step outside.
Oh yeah, like we're not gonna have all this type of conversation. Like I don't like that's, and again, the fat thing. If it was me that he was talking about, or if it was Danny or somebody else, whoever else in the staff or whoever else. If you talking about them, baby, listen, I know who the fuck I am. Like, baby, listen, listen, we just gonna call this space. So if you were referring to me, yes, you're right. But now that we're open this box, so let me refer to you. Let me have a few things that I can say about you.
Right, because girl, listen,
the way this mouth is set up, and I was like, okay, so I don't care about.
Right.
I do care about their feelings because, again, I know that is something that is, like you said, people are very sensitive about it. I have moments where I'm being sensitive about it, but again, at the end of the day, do you even matter?
Right.
Are you in my phone? Are you saving space in my brain? Do I think about you at some point? Like, the fuck? I don't. If you died down, like, would I be upset? No, not really.
No.
It would be sad that we lost a life.
I mean, I guess.
But I mean, I'm not getting ready to start up your GoFundMe page. I'm not getting ready to do that. Mm-mm. But maybe I'm just old and mean and nasty. I don't know. But
Yes.
Well, yeah. And that part, Tyra, if they got to all that and the baby, listen, when I tell you the Dewey Cheatham, listen, whoever else I could call that's going to do, let me tell y'all all this information that I know.
The way that I would have been like, I'm stressed. I was hurt. And I need to be compensated to the tune of $2.6 million for
in
my
cash
pain and suffering.
And that is after taxes. Thank you very much.
After taxes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But listen, I don't know. No, nope. But again, everybody's different. But I also know my crew, my tight crew, that if I said like, hoodoo, bitches round up. Like, I know bitches that's gonna show up with the grappling hook and everything else because we gonna do some damage. Because bitch, this is what we got going on. This is how I feel if I'm at this point. But we're not there. And it's not me. And there's no need to go through all that. And I'm not even trying to paint the picture that I'm some badass, because I'm not. I'm not even gonna say all that. But what I am gonna say is, baby, how I feel is definitely gonna affect how I actually move with that person going forward.
Right.
So, but besides that, it's been a very good week. Like I said, any day I can wake up above ground, like I'm good, like I'm okay. My fur baby's getting on my nerves. I guess she's in her tween years because she is doing some extra shit that's just annoying the fuck out of me. Like right now, she just nipped at me for a hot second, and I'm going to slap the shit out of her because she's getting on my nerves. But again, it's been a good day. I talked to my cousin today, and she went to go get her hair done. I saw pictures of her. She looked great. It's been a good day. It's been a good week. Besides all the nonsense, but I just have to let it out in some way, shape, or form. But that's me. That's been my week. So enough about me. How was your week?
It's not a whole lot going on. Work is work. You already talked about the photo shoot, which was lots of fun. And, other than that, I'm just chilling. I'm ready for this trip to Florida.
Right.
I'm ready for this heated saltwater pool. I am ready to not be bothered with people. And yeah, this is just a warm up because this summer I'm about to be out every weekend somewhere.
That was my goal that I set for myself, to at least be outside every single day in the summer last year.
Yeah. And I mean, that is, being outside doesn't necessarily mean, stuff, because like I want to go back and hit some trails, do some walking, some biking, do free shit, see some museums, that kind of stuff, hit some botanical gardens. I want to look and see, because there's lots of stuff to do in DC. There's like all kinds of festivals and shit. I want to go out and that sort of stuff.
It's almost like every day over the summer. And Grace is amazing with finding stuff. She's like, you want to do this? You want to do that? And I'm like, okay. But then she's like, no, it's outside. I don't want to sweat my hair out. Girl, what you bring it up for?
Well, it's summer. Everything gonna sweat your hair out. So,
So we're like, oh, it's too hot. Do we got to walk? Can we find somewhere close?
That shit and be good.
Yeah, it's a lot. But again,
I say all of that. And then some days I'm going to walk outside and be like, 97 degrees. Girl, I'm good. I'm going to sit right here in this AC. I'll see y'all later.
I'm going to turn this AC up a little notch.
Right. All right. It was lovely. Lovely talking to you all. Have a great day.
Yep. So, but anything else?
No. Honestly, this has just been, sort of low key.
Okay.
So everything is cool. I have gotten things generally like I wanted. I made some gumbo greens yesterday or Monday and some strawberry butter swim biscuits.
Oh yeah, the ones that you talked to me about, but
They're very good too. I'm gonna have some more tonight.
Good for you. Good for you. Drink plenty of water.
I am. I'm lots of water.
Drink your water. Drink your juice, Shelby. Drink your water, Shelby.
So, and this is gonna be another low key weekend. I got to cut the grass because this grass is like 20 feet high now. But it's been raining all the fucking time, and then I work. Now I got to actually go into the office. So and then of course. My favorite grass cutters bought a house on the fucking Eastern Shore, so they can't just pop over and cut the grass for me. So now I gotta cut my own grass in my own fucking house.
So it sounds like you're putting out this is a 911, or is the bat signal or the grass signal up to say like, come cut the grass, come cut the grass.
I mean, I could re-engage the service that I had before, but I mean, it's fine. I need to get out. I need to exercise. I need to start, living in my property and, managing that. It'll be cool. So it's no big deal. It's not like the yard that I have is a third of the size of the yard in the house that I grew up with. Cutting the grass in my house growing up was an endeavor. That was a whole 2.5, 3 hour thing. I could cut my grass. I can cut the front in about 15, 20 minutes and the back in about 20, 30 minutes max. So,
baby, I remember when I was in high school where we lived, my best friend at the time lived downstairs from me. It was a duplex. But we had the corner property. Mm-hmm. So there was like 2 lawns. To this day, I love Keenan to death. But baby, I would sit in that window and he would be like, well, come on outside and help me. No. No.
You got this. I'm very happy for you.
Baby, and we had that conversation early on. In fact, he was like one of the first people I told about being gay. But baby, if he didn't know at that point, no, you all right. Just call me. I'm gonna just watch you. I'm not done. Go ahead. So, but he would go on that lawn, and our lawn was that lawn that was like the showcase lawn on the block because we were on the corner. Everybody drove past. His grandmother was a stickler for doing what she knew because she grew up in the country. So. She was like she would get the manure and pile it in the grass sometime in March or April, and then the whole neighborhood would smell like a cow patch for like 2 weeks. But then by the summer, when I say the greenest grass on the motherfucking planet, baby, Miss Johnson didn't play about that grass, and she made Keenan go on out there and edge that thing up all the way around and all on the walkway up to my door, up to their door, and I would just sit in the window like, you missed the spot over in the corner. But listen,
I'm going to murder you.
Listen, I couldn't do it. But everything else, listen, we were in the house, we all did chores, we all did stuff, it was cool, but I just wouldn't cut that grass. I was not doing that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I have some fun things for us today and some interesting topics.
Ooh, we like fun things and interesting topics.
So let's start with Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, we're doing a double take? Okay.
I got to stop it. I was so entranced by what was going on.
Listen, we had this conversation with him last week, and when I saw it, I was like, damn, I was like, okay. He doesn't have like an ounce of fat on his body. Like
Not
it's just
even a quarter of an ounce.
No, Manga, that is all him. He ain't got there's not 1 ounce of fat on his body. It's now, I don't know if he's one of these people that's just naturally lean. He works out, he's naturally skinny and then works out and then he makes it look normal or whatever. But his body's always been like that. It almost looks kind of like, at one point to me, it almost looked kind of like too muscular at one particular point. And it seems like as he's getting older, he's like filling out in like a really, I don't know, like a just full way. But hey, listen, we gotta respect that he's out there probably every day doing something. So good for you. It shows.
So if we may need to change some trips around,
would you show your butthole for $2,000? If the answer is yes, we need to talk. The grand prize for winning the 2025 Prettiest Butthole in Michigan competition is $2,000. Think of all the shit you can do with your prize money, bitch. So let's see that Saginaw shit star, Lansing leaky loafer, Kalamazoo crusty crater, or Detroit diseased donut, bitch. Start stretching spokes and taking notes as I will be your anal ambassador for the world's largest ass pageant. Follow this account for all things related to the 2025 Prettiest Butthole in Michigan competition, because guys, the butthole industry is volatile at its strongest moment. We'll see you May 17th at Brown Zero Deja Vu Showgirls in Lansing, Michigan for the world's largest ass pageant, booty bash, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the Prettiest Butthole in Michigan competition. Would you show?
Listen, I would definitely listen for that type of cat. Absolutely, sure. Why not? But do I think it's pretty? Nah, it's functional, but it ain't pretty. Like I can say that about my own. Like, it's all right, but it ain't pretty.
You gotta believe in yourself.
What you say? I'm gonna use Dermablend that hands. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta listen. This is gently used booty. Keep it cute. This is gently used booty. So it does not have. Keep it together, bitch. Keep it together.
Okay.
It does not have all the bells and whistles of that brand new booty when you're just ripping the paper off of it, and it's it's still like, and it's it's got all. No. It goes back to where it's supposed to. It doesn't supposed, but it ain't pretty. Not, at least not because we've seen some pretty booty holes, but right tampered. That's what I'm saying. It's been tampered with a few times, and we had to call the cops about a few times. Just for a few things, but it's good. It's sturdy. It's a good foundation. Mm-hmm. It does exactly what you need to do. You kick all the tires. Everything is sturdy. It works. It works.
Mm-hmm. Epic Honest booted and set the population of Hartwell County a new high.
All I'm saying is, Mm-hmm.
Entry requirements for the 2025 Prettiest Butthole in Michigan competition have changed. For this year's pageant, we are requiring a minimum gape circumference of 1.5 inches or more. Before the competition, we will be checking your gape. I got baby hands, and if this baby fist can't fit inside your butthole when it's fully gaped, you will not be allowed to compete. We'll see you May 17th at Deja Vu Showgirls, Brown Zero, home of the world's largest ass pageant, booty bash, whatever the you want to call it, the Prettiest Butthole in Michigan competition.
Now I want to be clear that this is absolutely a real competition. This is not a joke.
So I get that, but he literally said he wants it. Yeah, I'm out because listen, there's no gape. Bitch, there's no gaping.
Like, I know you was like a gape. I'm a fucking lady.
Like, what the fuck? There's no gape. This is not a gaping hole, bitch. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're not. The hell? The fuck? But I would like to go just so I can see all the contestants.
I do too. I'm like, if I if I lived closer, and because I don't know that I want to go just for that, but like if I lived in Detroit or near close to Deja Vu Showgirls, bitch, that would be my activity. Like, what you do on Saturday? I went to a booty hole contest.
So, I mean, listen, we can sponsor the DC version, the BGKH show. We can sponsor that. We can make that happen on this side of town.
Good.
I'm sure we'd have plenty of contestants.
Lots of contestants just from the people that's in the chat.
Well, or if we go through your little black book, we'd have lots of contestants.
I see what you're trying to do there. It's all good though.
Ooh, look at it. Oh my God. Oh, look at there. Okay. It's, ooh, look over there.
So anyway, I don't know if you can really see this, but Gail King from Vulture.com, Gail King to critics of her space flights. Have you been? Gail is not exactly the best spokesperson for this whole thing, because lots of people are like, it was a bunch of rich people pretending to go to space. Because I mean, you went up in a rocket that was in orbit for a hot second and then came back down. And these are all women who were previously wealthy. Like one of them is Jeff Bezos's fiance. It was Katy Perry, Gail King, some other bitches out, some other women, I don't know, but they're all like wealthy influencer type. So, this ain't exactly, baby, this ain't Sally Ride on the motherfucking Challenger, bitch. You know what I mean? The tragedy of that notwithstanding, but that was like a historic moment. A teacher actually going on Challenger, actually orbiting the Earth, whatever. This was not that. Them girls, that whole trip lasted, they was in space for like 10 minutes.
If that much.
It was just like a stunt that, it just was like, and listen, you could be like, yes, it was an amazing experience to leave it at that. But the whole, at least in my opinion, the way that she and other people that went on is responding to it is giving very much Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. We got people who were in this country legally who were kidnapped and sent to this crazy gulag prison in El Salvador. And y'all are like, this is a transformative experience. And, I want to thank God. It looks like, girl, you could just be like, this was a great experience. But, sometimes you just, do shit, but then shut the fuck up about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people should take that. Like, just a lot of people should take that road. Like, a lot more people should take that road.
Yeah.
And I don't think people even understand it, but people should.
Yeah. Let's see. I got one more. Hold on. Come on now. Come on.
So
talk
wait,
about butthole.
Lola said Bezos does tour strips like this all the time, but this was the first all-woman one. How much? What are we talking about for these prices? Like, what are we talking about for these prices? Because that's what I did not hear about this. Let me see if we can use the Google machines and figure it out.
It's Blue Horizons, right? How much does a Blue Origin flight cost? Blue Origin does not publicly disclose the exact cost of its space flight, but a $150,000 refundable deposit is required to begin the order process.
Oh. Okay. That's the deposit?
Yeah. I think I don't know that these women actually paid for that.
Well, whether they paid or not, I'm just talking about, for me, if I had $150,000, am I going to put this down on a space flight? Probably not.
Right. This article, MSNBC said on Monday morning, 6 mostly rich and or famous women boarded a rocket and traveled on billionaire Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin new Shepard rocket to the Kármán line, the boundary separating Earth's atmosphere and space, and remained in this space briefly for a journey lasting a total of approximately 11 minutes. She says, I'm all for women's progress and liberation, but calling this a win for women feels downright delusional. She says, yes, some of the crew champion their efforts is that, but space tourism is not feminism. It is consumer capitalism at its most inaccessible. And that's really where I'm going. It's like, this wasn't again, a teacher who was do they take afterpay? Bitch. Right. And the first payment is not due till after I get back, bitch, because I will give you $20 every 2 weeks for the next 25 years. But for me, this is exactly, it's capitalism. This isn't, Sally Ride was a teacher who was voted through some process, so she was just like a normal person. These were people who already had everything, who got to have this amazing experience, and just call it that, an amazing experience, but don't make this like it was some big step for women. At least to me, maybe women maybe some women feel different about that.
I don't know, but I don't think I took it as a monumental excursion for women.
That's what they're positioning it as. They're making a big thing about. So,
yeah, I just did not take it that way.
Yeah.
It was just a trip for me. That's just how I looked at it.
So the next thing I have for you, you can't really see. I don't think you can really see this. So I'll have to read it to you. The woman in the picture is a 37-year-old Brooklyn mother named Shahay. I'm going to say Jahay Nurse, who is facing felony assault charges after allegedly beating her 9-year-old son with an extension cord upon discovering his involvement in a planned robbery. According to her attorney, Nurse confronted her son after learning he had mugged another child and had been plotting to rob a local store with friends using ski masks, which she later found among his belongings. The incident came to light after the boy ran away and was found at a Flatbush McDonald's. The boy told police his mother struck him with an extension cord, punched him in the chest, pinned him to the floor, and grabbed his neck. Officers reported visible injuries on his arm and neck, and he was taken to a hospital for observation. Nurse's attorney claims she acted out of fear for her son's safety, arguing if he were to rob a store, he could be killed by police. So, thoughts?
I don't, it's like, I don't know what to say, because I feel like she reacted to her fear, which is, again, something happening to him, on top of him doing the wrong thing, on top of her knowing how, if she's talking about him plotting on this and plotting on that and robbing a store, what's next? You're going to kill somebody. Like, this is building up. This is a buildup. And
right. I mean, you know how I am, because normally I'm like, baby, beating kids with extension cords and all that. I'm like, but this kid at 9 years old had already mugged one child and was planning to rob a store. Yet his dumbass only ran as far as the McDonald's. Girl, listen, if you are going to run because you are afraid of your mama, don't go to the place where your mama goes to get you chicken nuggets. I mean, the fuck,
baby.
So I feel like this is, you're going to go live with your grandmama in Mississippi because this environment around here is crazy. But they be doing gang shit in Mississippi too. So
I listen, Tyrod said it best. He's lucky. That's all he got. Baby. We already know that I am definitely a fan of corporal punishment if and when necessary, and this would be one of those times.
I mean, so there's a such thing as generational trauma, and one of the generational traumas we carry from our ancestors' period of enslavement is that our ancestors used to beat their children even more harshly than they might, because they were afraid that they beat them so that they wouldn't get beat by the slave owner. So the police is the new slave owners or the new slave catchers and whatnot. And I just feel like rarely does a kid like all of a sudden up and one day start being like, he don't go from being like a straight A or even a BC student to robbing his classmates and planning to rob a bank. Parenting is hard. I'm sure Grace will tell you that parenting is hard, but you can't start parenting and decide that you want to fear for this child's life when he's 9 years old. It starts when the baby is small and you laugh at shit that shouldn't be funny. Like when you tell him to do something, like some people curse around their kids. My mother cursed a little bit, but not the way that I see people cursing at the kids these days. But then you curse at them, but then it's like, then you get mad. You constantly dropping the F-bomb. You constantly saying bitch, fuck, nigga, all this other shit. But then when the little kid is saying, you want to pop him in the mouth. But bitch, it's like that commercial about drugs. It was like, where did you learn that? I learned it from you. I'm like, the fuck? For the first 2 years of this child's life, you are like the only person that this child sees on a consistent basis. So if the child is cursing and doing crazy shit, then where the fuck do you think that child learned that? And so, yes, is it hard to raise children and everything? But that is the job. And you can't suddenly, when the child is 9 years old and start doing increasingly more crazy shit, now be like, oh, I got to start beating him before he do something crazy. You got to be thinking about that shit when the child is small.
But again, for me, it all starts early.
I mean, I am not in favor of corporal punishment, but something needed to be done with this child, because this, on one hand, I do agree with her, because there's study after study after study after study where they look at young Black boys particularly and see even the smallest infraction. And this is not just white teachers, this is Black teachers. They police Black male behavior more harshly than they do. So even if they had, some little white kid, the police officer might even been like, you kids just put that shit back and you take your asses home before, whatever. They would have shot that little Black boy on sight and not even thought about it. That child maybe stole a fucking Yoo-hoo and a packet of crayons, because obviously this ain't no master criminal if he barely made it to the fucking McDonald's. But the police don't know that. They shot Tamir Rice, who wasn't even committing the crime, who was just sitting in the fucking park holding, what was it, a toy car? Or maybe it was a water gun or some shit.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I agree with her, but there had to have been signs. I just can't believe that this kid just randomly just woke up one day and was like, yeah, I'm going to rob my local, somebody I go to school with. Like the little kid that he go to school with wouldn't be like, that was Timmy that robbed me. I'm like, the fuck?
So I agree that there are other things that may have happened, but then also let's just call a spade a spade. There are some people in this world that shit just happens to.
Yeah.
It's like that. Maybe he's one of them. I don't know. However, like you said, there are things that led up to this. So all the behaviors and all the things that pop up, like that would have been a corrective action early on. But again, if she did that or didn't do that, and this is where we are, she's still trying to correct the actions. I don't necessarily say that it will correct the behavior immediately, but something has got to be done to make him understand, or make them understand, that there are consequences to some of these thoughts that you have.
Right. Yeah, and listen, you are not getting me to disagree with that. I'm 100% aligned with that. We automatically like, yeah, beat the hell out of the child, but then what really is the lesson taught other than fear? Because does it teach the child to regulate his own emotions and thoughts and whatever? And by jumping immediately to violence, I don't think that lesson is learned. And people say, oh, I turned out okay. But we know people, they can't form emotional attachments, or they overeat, or they take drugs, or they do all sorts of other things except go to therapy, and so yeah, something need to be happening. He needed a good throat punch. I just want to be clear. At least one good, like, surprise, like, pacha! And then
Wait, what was the sound effect?
It's got to be a surprise, because it can't be like I'm going to throat punch you. It's got to be like, bitch, did I just find like rope and all this other shit in your room? And it was like, yeah. And this while he's just like talking, you just like, just like you got to do like the 5-point exploding heart trick on that motherfucker, and then
it is pie maze.
That's the pie maze.
5-point exploding heart.
Right. And then, someone once told me what I'm about to suggest is abuse. I was like, put that motherfucker in his room. Take every
fucking thing out
of the room. Don't it? That bitch, you do the crazier the shit, the less you get. And at this point, bitch, you get the room. You don't get a bed. You don't get nothing. You don't get no cell phone. You don't get no TV. I will bring you your fucking food. And bitch, let me tell you, you about to get the most basic ass, watered down, basic nutrition and a piece of white bread that you're gonna go, because this is still going to be 1,000 times kinder than what's going to happen to you, because he was 9 years old. So they was going to send him to a youth detention facility. It's going to be 1,000 times better than that. But listen, and then you be like, you look at him and be like, I just want you to be clear on this. And this is how you got to know. The kids got to fear you a little bit, but there's ways to instill fears without beating your kids the whole time. You got to look at that kid and be like, now there's a window in this room. You know better. Don't try to run away, because when I bring you back.
Listen, I done had this conversation about my fur baby. I love her to death, but baby, I done told you, if she walk out this door, she is for the streets. I'm gonna put that bag right up out that door. Listen, my baby walk out that door, and I done told you, it's hard out here. It's hard out here. It is hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get the money to pay the rent. Bitch, is hard. But if you feel like you want to walk out this door, let me help you.
Right. Exactly, Dylan. Because when I bring you back
to life, back to reality.
That's why you got, like I said, you got to keep that relative that live in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, or in Mississippi or Texas or some shit, because and they gotta know, like, listen, my a buddy of mine that I worked with, his name is Muhammad Ali. And baby, that is like a very common name.
I know.
He's Persian. He's from Iran. And he said when he was a kid, his mother was like, do it again. I will send your ass back to Iran so quick. He said, my mother never had another moment of trouble for me my whole life, because it was like growing up in the United States or growing up in Iran. So, yeah, so I get where she was coming from, and the level of what this kid was about to do was about to be off the chain.
So the issue for me is that you felt, based off of all the examples and the teachings that you have had up to your life, you felt it necessary to do this. And you felt that it was right, because clearly you didn't think it was wrong. That makes me think, where did I go wrong? What did I not show you or teach you or model for you at this particular point?
Right.
That's kind of how I feel. And I think that's the part that makes me mad at the same time, because I know I would be very intentional with my child to kind of just be like, these are the things I don't want you to do. These are the reasons why. And we, have these conversations and try to show you and all these different things. And, I think some of the best lessons that I've learned just in my life in general that had nothing to do with the moment, but just in general times, like you're just sitting around talking like, oh, by the way, don't stick your finger in an electric socket because you're it's going to shock you. Or it's like, what? Like something, just conversation, just talking to your children. So,
Anyway, all right. Well, so let's So, all right. Well, baby, if I'm ever in the courtroom, I'm gonna be like, Your Honor, not guilty. But girl, you and that baby need counseling.
They need to be. Well, okay. Yeah, they both might need to learn the 5-point palm exploding heart technique, because
yeah.
Or maybe just the mama as a safety. Maybe she should have did that. But like, if you do one more bad thing, your heart's just gonna explode.
Right. So the premise says this is how faceless Grindr profiles expect you to react. So the message from the faceless Grindr profile is, you're close. Can I come by? So I gotta mute this. That's proprietary music. But yeah, they be acting like, you be like, and then they be having a nerve to be like, you're really cute. Can we hook up? And I was like, what you look like? Because yes, I am cute. And then, depending on how arrogant they are, they'll be like, oh, you don't have to worry. It's all good here. And I was like, nah, brother, because, I was young and foolish. The music does make the video. You're right, Lola. But, I'm not trying to get the whole YouTube.
We don't need no channel strike. We don't need that. No.
For those 3 seconds. But yeah, I'm imagining, I don't know if women or heterosexual women go. I imagine heterosexual women do go through it, because there's a lot of men out here creeping, and so they don't have their profile picture up because they don't want their wife or anyone to see them. But what'd be killing me on Grindr? Like, you would never do it with Grace because you are classy. But you see those dudes on Grindr or Scruff or wherever, they be in their on their Grindr profiles with their female besties.
Oh no, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Like, girl, does your female friend know that you are in her profile picture and you are talking about doing the most awful things or having the most awful things done to you? I mean, you had no other pictures of you other than this picture of you and this woman having brunch.
Baby, I have cut if it's a picture I like, I've cut everybody out that bitch just to put around my pic. I don't like that. I just never thought that was cute. And I know some people say, oh, well, you know, my friend said it's okay. They know it's just a picture and blah, 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 blah. They didn't care. Okay. I don't even want that associated with them because I don't want you to approach them and be like, so
right.
That's what your friend does. What about you? Bitch, stay away.
Right. I don't even put other friends, male or female, on a picture on a site where I am soliciting men to do, let me do terrible things to them.
God awful things that I would thoroughly enjoy.
Right.
But
Oh, hold on.
Giving the performances of a decade.
Right.
I'm putting this wig in buns. I'm clipping it. I'm doing a little bang. I'm flicking out hairs.
Doing storylines.
I'm getting into it because I'm like, I'm a lady. He's like calling me princess like the whole night. And I'm like gagging, right? He's like, my princess. Like, he's such a cute. And I go like this. And the wig in a bun topples off my head. And he goes, my prince.
Shut up. My princess. My prince.
Gag me. One time
Get
I was
out.
hanging out with this guy.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
I mean,
honey, I'm this is going to be really mean. Really. All right, I believe it alone.
Please and thank you.
Bitch, I have had that happen. It doesn't happen as much anymore since I lost a bunch of weight. But baby, you be bending down and tying your shoes. It's like, all right, can I tie these shoes before I pass the fuck out?
You know what? I got no comment on this. I have no comment, none whatsoever.
Because you ain't never been that fat.
I have no comment on that.
They speak liberal. They have liberal friends.
This wasn't.
So what's your take?
Every straight guy should try butt stuff twice.
100% agree. I think it should be more than twice, though.
Okay, I'm a little surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Why wouldn't I want to try butt stuff?
Well, have you? Okay. I'm glad you agree.
What kind of butt stuff, though?
Literally anything, man. You know, it could be solo. It can be with your girl.
Solo?
Yeah, solo.
What do you mean by solo?
You got 10 fingers.
At once?
No. Well, you can work up to that.
10?
Yeah.
No.
Listen, I'm gay.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Crazy stuff happens
That's awesome.
in our community.
Why do you think that straight men need to try butt stuff?
I think the world would be a better place if straight men were having better orgasms.
Whoa.
There would be less anger in the world, less crime. You know, the subways would be safer.
The subways would be safer.
Politics would be calmer.
You think if everyone was doing butt stuff, politics would be calmer?
I think if straight men were getting pegged, the world would be a better place.
Well, I think recently it has become more in the zeitgeist to get your ass eaten.
Yes.
Does getting your ass eaten count as butt stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's stuff happening to your butt.
And that's where I stopped because I'm like, does it though? Because when this guy on the screen, who is a homosexual, was talking about butt stuff, he was absolutely not talking about getting your ass eaten.
He was so far beyond eating. He was so far beyond that.
And that's why the other guy was like, yeah, I've done butt stuff. I've let a woman lick my butt. No, girl, that is not what we are talking about in this video at all. We are having conversations in the same vein, but we ain't talking about the same shit at all.
That is correct.
You are talking about child, this isn't even a 101 class. You are giving, high school prep class. This man was giving a master's, talking about at least a capstone project. That's why what the dude was like, fingers? What? Because he was only thinking about ass. He was, we was talking about, they was having different conversations.
Okay, why did you vote?
Ooh, come on, Michelle.
Well, I voted for Trump because I didn't really like the whole Biden administration because it presented weakness.
Okay, so what specifically about the Biden-Harris administration presented weakness?
Well, just that, they wanted to help everybody they could.
So stop right there, because dude is like, this face is like, the white boy was too stunned to speak. It was like they were weak because they wanted to help people.
Help everybody. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
So you think, okay, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Did Jesus want to help everybody that he could?
Well, I don't really know if Jesus was actually alive. Can't prove that.
You just said that you were a Christian.
Well, yeah, that's what I align with.
So if you're a Christian, that means that you believe Jesus was alive.
Well, I believe in what I know for a fact.
So then you want to be a Christian.
Then I guess I wouldn't be a Christian.
I'm so sorry. You're just racking my brain. This is hell for me. Do you guys see what I go through with some of these guests? Okay, why did you vote for Trump?
Like, she just walked back her whole set of religious beliefs to align with MAGA.
That's all that it is. And my whole thing is, baby, listen, just say what the fuck it is that you mean. Like, just say it. Just fucking say it. Just fucking say it.
Right.
Everybody's tiptoeing around something. Just fucking say it. Wait a minute. Grace said what now?
The porn on your fucking computer made my jaw drop. Marcia, come back. You saw it. Your mother's the one who showed me. Don't talk to me about secrets. Watching 8 people come on one person's face, gangbangs, fucking cum funnels, fucking pissing in people's asses. Jesus fucking Christ, man. I got problems, you got problems.
I was like, this feels like judgment, because all of that, I was like,
it sounds
okay,
like a regular day in the week that ends with Y, where those things come
right. He was like, this is why I'm like, some of you girls be like, oh, I'm kinky in the boudoir. And I'm like, you absolutely are not, honey.
Listen, this show, though, is this Euphoria? I can't remember what it was, but I heard the show.
I think it was. I never actually saw it, but I had seen this clip.
Yeah, but I heard it was really good, though.
And then, people, like someone says, pissing in people's asses is crazy. And I'm like, girl, you girls are basic as fuck. Now, listen, you could just be like, I don't want to try it, but it's not crazy. I guarantee you.
Okay. All right. Grace has
there was a time when you would go to the gay bar and it was just like exclusively rainbow people. But like last night I was there and like a bachelorette party came in, and there's a side of me that's like, I'm not your novelty. Like, you all came here as a group of like straight women getting married to like see us. That is what it is. Like, and I'm supposed to be happy.
Like, there's already too much main character energy at this bar. We need to add
we're all
bachelorette.
And then they say shit like, you have to meet my friend, Phil. I don't want to fucking meet your friend. I don't want to meet your friend. What? Because we both have the same lisp or whatever. There's this like whole thing of like, no, it's for everyone. Is it? There was a time.
We've had this conversation how many different times? How many
we have, and it's just interesting to me to see white gay guys talk about their spaces being gentrified when they are the main ones who do it to others. And listen, like any other place, I don't care who comes into the space as long as you recognize what the space is, whether it's a gay bar or a leather bar. Like, I've been in gay bars where they're like, oh, well, some of the women felt uncomfortable because there was porn showing on the TVs. Bitch, it's a gay bar. The fuck? If you don't like it, don't come into this space. Well, I like to go to a space where I feel safe. I honestly don't know what to tell you, love. But that's what this space is. So
Grace, you want to expand on this? You say eating ass maybe, but hetero guys are very much against experiencing butt stuff. Can you expand on that? Maybe Nichelle,
what else is there to say?
Yeah, maybe Nichelle, you can add on that because you seem to be on the opposite side of the coin. Any additional comments on this while we're still here talking about the butt stuff, please? And thank you.
And I mean, I don't want nobody to do butt stuff that doesn't want to do it, because every time I see, like, even in straight porn, when straight guys are getting their asses eaten, I feel so bad for those women, because first of all, they treat those women like shit.
But then they do this.
Right. And then you know why? Because that man did not clean out the way that a gay man does. He probably was like, oh, if he's a decent person, he probably took a shower and let the water run down. But baby, if you want someone to get your tongue in there, you got to get in there at least 2-3 good inches. I mean,
how about you just go ahead and empty it out? How about that?
If that's not your jam, or you don't know anything about that, you need to do more. And so those men, every time I see a straight man a man getting his ass eaten by a woman in porn, I'm like, I know that booty hole ain't clean the way it should be for someone to want to stick their tongue, up in it.
And some of these dudes, the idea of
go ahead.
Some of these dudes, the idea of parting them butt cheeks, and them cheeks come across and they make a noise like, you're like, He just came straight out and told me he liked that shit, but if I didn't feel comfortable with his hygiene, he would have had to use his imagination. Okay, well, listen, that was cool.
And here's the thing, Nichelle, because I have met the occasional. Well, I have actually never met, because when I was younger, I tended to meet the guys at places, where everybody was sort of aligned to what was about to happen. But now I get the kids explicit instructions before they show up in my house. And listen, if he want to do it and you are down for it, but you don't think everything is the way it should be, you'd be like, baby, what would be real sexy if we took a shower together? And then you get in there and you make sure that shit is clean to your liking.
Exactly, Grace. A flushable is not cleaning the booty hole enough to eat.
And then you want someone to stick your tongue where you didn't put that fucking flushable wipe? Ugh. That's why, listen, if I put my tongue on your body, the only thing I want to smell and taste is clean skin.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That wet wipe is just so you can use because you're not at home and you went to the bathroom while you at work and you want to just make sure you extra clean before you go back and sit at your desk. That's what that motherfucking wet wipe is for.
Right.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Well, I'm going to silence this one because this is playing music too. But anyway, so let's watch this. This is allegedly a couple getting married. Oh, so
I call out like that. Brody thought he was
we'll be good. Hold on, let me go back.
There was a
No, that's not a couple getting
Why you
married.
got your back call out like that? Brody thought he was Beyonce.
Yeah,
that's not a couple getting married. I think that's a pageant couple, I believe, like king and queen.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, girl,
I believe, and whether it was Miss Black Universe or something, but that looks like a pageant couple, a Mr. and Ms.
Oh, okay. Because otherwise, I was like, someone need to sit her down and tell her about her husband.
One of the biggest reasons why I got out of being religious is like the idea of eternal life. That's a curse.
I agree.
I have to do some version of this for all. Let's imagine that I die,
right,
and I go to heaven, and I'm looking down at my nephew and if I have kids, That's interesting. I'm
Right.
looking at my kids and my nephew. I'm watching over them. Okay, they have kids. My grandkids. That's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Their kids. I don't know these niggas. I don't want to watch. We're on season 3. I don't want to watch anymore.
So it's just kind of the same stuff over and over again.
You've gone off the rails. I don't want to watch you all. Like, I know my grandma's watching down to me. Leave that woman alone.
Let her rest.
Hasn't she done enough in her life? Now she's watching you. It sounds horrible. I want to rest. I want to be done. I want to just. I want the. You know, with the TV. I want that.
Do you want to be reincarnated at all?
No.
As anything?
You think the Earth's getting better? I don't want
Maybe go into another universe.
Maybe.
Yeah, another universe would be cool.
One of the biggest reasons why
thoughts.
I mean, he has some very valid points. I don't know about living forever because I feel like if you live forever, if my friends and family can't live forever, what's the point?
Right.
I don't want to be the only person. And I remember thinking about my grandmother at a certain point because she was 100 when she died. I remember her thinking like there were very, very few people that were friends of hers that were still around.
Mm-hmm.
If any, and that's including the neighbors across the street, you know what I mean? All that type of stuff, like very few people.
Right.
And, you know, I had to sit back and think about it. That's got to be a lonely feeling.
Yeah.
And
even if you're surrounded by a loving family, I mean,
absolutely,
it's the difference between your family versus your peers and your friends.
Absolutely. And I think that's the part that, because yes, she was surrounded by the entire family, but you know, that's still doesn't necessarily mean that she's not necessarily lonely. You could be lonely in a crowded room. Side note, one of my favorite songs by what's her face? From oh my god, her name's on the tip of my tongue. The lead singer from Sandra St. Victor. Lord have mercy.
Oh. What,
but anyway.
Isn't the song like Alone in a Crowded Room or some shit like that?
Yeah, Lonely in a Crowded Room.
Okay. All right. Well, don't we have some stories?
We do. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into this. So listen, we just got word today that our very own dream girl finally got her a star on the Walk of Fame. Shirley Ralph has been in the show business for decades. And today she was honored with the 2,808th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame within the television category today in Los Angeles. Now, from her Emmy Award-winning role on Abbott Elementary as Barbara to Moesha and her legendary run on Broadway as Dina in Dreamgirls, Ralph has been a staple in the industry, known to be a multi-hyphenate talent who always shows star presence. The Hollywood Walk of Fame celebrates art and entertainment and encompasses the skills and dedication of Hollywood's most iconic stars. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce administers the Walk of Fame for the city of Los Angeles. A committee of their peers selects honorees and sponsors fund the star, the ceremony, and the maintenance of the attraction. So congratulations to Shirley Ralph. Our dream girl is now going to be in several other people's dreams as they walk across her star on the Walk of Fame. So another story I wanted to point out. Listen, our girl Toni, I don't even know if it's Antoinette or if it's Antoinette Michelle, but Miss Toni Braxton, just want to let you all know that according to some documents obtained by TMZ, rapper and businessman Birdman Brian Christopher Williams and Ms. Braxton secretly married at a private reception on August 8th, 2024, last summer. While some fans already suspected they were married, many were shocked to learn that Braxton filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Now, within the divorce documents, Braxton and her attorney called the marriage irretrievably broken, and the timeless singer's date of separation from Birdman was August 10th, just several days after their wedding. Even though their honeymoon period was rocky and short-lived, the estranged couple seemingly worked through any differences they may have had as Braxton dismissed the divorce petition. Now, Birdman agreed with Braxton's decision to dismiss the divorce, which means the two are still legally married. However, the intricacies of their union are still in question as the two are notoriously private. They don't post each other on social media, and Braxton doesn't wear her wedding ring in public. Now, they've been in an on-again, off-again relationship since they started dating in May of 2016. after decades of friendships. And this is documented on the Braxton Family Values TV show. And in 2018, the Cash Money Records executive proposed to Braxton with an enormous $1 million diamond ring. Although the two briefly called off their engagement in 2019, they reconciled several weeks later. In 2023, Braxton denied rumors that she was married to Birdman and stated that they were no longer together on Instagram. And in 2024, they were back together and married. This is Birdman's first marriage. So we shall see how this is going to play out.
I mean, the whole idea of marrying somebody on a Wednesday and filing for divorce on a Friday is wild to me. Because whatever it was that made you want to file for divorce is the reason you should not have married him in the first place. It's just crazy to me. And, you know, sometimes I see people and you're like, I be thinking like I'm the crazy one. You know what I mean? When you see people in these on again, off again relationships, because I'd be like, girl, I wouldn't put up with that shit if I was you. And I'd be like, well, maybe I'm the crazy one. You know, maybe this is how people do in relationship. But I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather just be not lonely. I'd rather be alone than always in a back and forth with somebody that is laying beside me in the bed. That just feels like hell on earth.
Listen, some people live that or have lived it for quite some time. When people figure out what they want their life to look like and what they want it to be, as long as they have the willpower and the ability to change it, they should change it. And at this particular point with Toni, if she likes her life the way it is right now, which is, you know, still married on paper or still married, you know, in real life with Birdman, maybe maybe they do have a relationship. It's not that it's impossible that they couldn't, you know, be married, but.
Mm-hmm. And as Tyra noted, Tamar was right.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that Tamar is not much, because she is. Tamar is not extra, because she is. But one thing I don't know about Tamar, I don't necessarily know if I think she's ever been a liar. I think she may just say.
And why would she lie on her own sister? I mean, that just feels like a lie.
Oh, really, Manga? Is that where we're going?
Maybe that's why the quickie. Maybe that was why the quickie divorce request.
I'm moving on to the next story. Listen, some sad news. Alice Tan Ridley, Subway singer on America's Got Talent, she died at age 72. Alice Tan Ridley rose to fame after decades singing for trips in the New York City subway with an unexpected run on the television show America's Got Talent. She died on March 25th in New York City. Ms. Ridley was the mother of the Oscar-nominated actress Gabourey Sidibe, and she was 72. Singing was her third career for Ms. Ridley. In the early 70s, after moving to New York, she worked as a nursery school teacher. And then in 1976, she took a job as a teacher's aide for special needs children at a public elementary school in New York. Now, the year before Ms. Ridley appeared on America's Got Talent, her daughter, Ms. Sidibe, hit it big, starring in the movie Precious, a role for which she earned an Oscar nom. The role came about in part because of Ms. Ridley. As she told it, she was approached to be in the movie. And so she was also asked to play her mom in the movie. And she was saying that because she was a teacher and she was also a mom, she said she found it to be difficult to actually play that role. And so she just kind of let it go. But going back to her and just talking about her story, she married Ibnu Sidibe, who was then a cab driver around 1980. They had two children, Ahmed and Gabourey. Before their marriage ended in divorce in the early 1990s. And in addition to her two children, Miss Ridley is survived by two brothers, James D. Ridley and Tommy Lee Cherry, two sisters, Julia Van Matter Miller and Mildred Ridley Dent, and two grandchildren, which Gabby just had not too long ago. So rest in heaven, and our condolences to the Sidibes and the Ridley family and all that good stuff. I wanted to point this out as well. So there was a Florida teacher who was fired for calling her student by their preferred name without the consent of the child's parent, according to Click Orlando in Central Florida, the public media. Central Florida Public Media and Florida Today. Now, Melissa Calhoun, a teacher at Satellite High School in Brevard County, Florida, was informed her contract for the 25-26 school year would not be renewed because she called the student an alternative name to their legal name without a signed form. Now, I want everybody to be careful, listen to what's not being said. We are talking about alternative names, which in the state of Florida, if you are thinking that this is trans related, you're probably right. That's how I'm reading this. Because if little Sally Smith's child decides that they no longer want to be called Terrence and want to be called Margaret, if that's what they want to be called, and they can go through the school day, whatever. But I want you all to pay attention to the fact that this article is never mentioning anything about gender, but I just have this sneaking suspicion in Florida that that's what they're talking about. But right. I'll go on. Like I said, her contract for the 25-26 school year was not going to be renewed because she called them an alternative name. Now, according to Florida's parental authorization for deviation from students' legal name form, this law, educators are required to get parental permission before calling a student by a name different from their legal one. And this law was implemented at the start of the 23-24 school year. The school's parent alerted the school that Calhoun called the student by a preferred name. Brevard Public Schools spokesperson Janet Mernigan said that. Say it again.
It's Brevard, but
okay. Janet Mernigan said that the district conducted an internal investigation into the matter, and Calhoun admitted to using the child's preferred name per Florida Today. And as a result, Florida will review her teaching credentials because she violated state law. Due to the state's intervention, the district chose not to renew her annual contract. During a school board meeting on Tuesday, April 8th, Calhoun's coworker said that the teacher made a difference in her classroom and in the lives of our students, including my own child. She deserved more than a quiet exit. She deserved fairness, context, and compassion. There was a change.org petition that was titled Reinstate Ms. Calhoun that was created and has over 14,580 signatures as of Thursday, April 10th. So good luck to this particular teacher. Hopefully this school district will figure out some compromise somewhere, or and the compromise may be trying to get the law overturned or whatever it may be. But again, there's a battle that's getting ready to ensue about this. So best of luck to all those that are going to be involved. I wanted to point out some famous birthdays within the last week. Bobby Vinton is 90. Herbie Hancock turned 85. Actor Ed O'Neill from Married with Children and also Modern Family, he turned 79. Talk show host David Letterman turned 78. Ron Perlman turned 75. And I actually just saw a picture of Ron Perlman's kids, his son and his daughter with his ex-wife. God, that son looks just like him and has a strong jawbone. Peebo Bryson turned 74. Band leader, rock musician Max Weinberg from Conan O'Brien, he turned 74. JD Nicholas of the Commodores, I don't know which one it is because it's 117 of the Commodores, but he turned 73. Actress Ellen Barkin turned 71. And actor Andy Garcia turned 69. Country singer Vince Gill is 68. TV personality Jay Alexander from America's Next Top Model is 67 years old.
Miss Jay is 67 years old?
67 years old.
What?
Emma Thompson,
I gotta look see what she look like.
Emma Thompson turned 66. Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond is 65. Jimmy Osmond is 62. Actor-comedian Caroline Ray from The Biggest Loser is 61. Martin Lawrence turned 60. John Cryer also turned 60. Samantha Fox, I want to have some fun. I want to have some fun. Move my body all night long. Yeah, she turned 59. Actor Anthony Michael Hall turns 57. Flex Alexander is 55. Ricky Schroeder turns 55 as well. Peter Billingsley from A Christmas Story is 54. Bokeem Woodbine is 52. Adrian Brody turns 52. The Brat had a birthday. She turns 51. Sarah Michelle Gellar turns 48. Chris Stapleton turns 47. Claire Danes turns 46, along with Luke Evans. Seth Rogen turns 43, which he looks like an old 43 to me. Rapper Ty Dolla $ign is 43. Samira Wiley from Orange is the New Black is 38. And I'm not sure if you remember which one she is, but she's the short little one with she had her hair comb real close and it was natural. She was also in The Walking Dead, if I remember correctly. Emma Watson from Harry Potter turns 35. Actress Anya Taylor-Joy turns 29, and actress Abigail Breslin turns 29. If you don't remember who she is the young lady from Little Miss Sunshine. When I tell you that scene is still hilarious to me. Oh, God. Anyway, other popular or historical birthdays this past week, Wilbur Wright, one of the aviator, Charlie Chaplin, the actor, George the Animal Steel, pro wrestler, Pope Benedict the 16th. I'm sorry, Pope Benedict, the 16th had a birthday. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it turned 77, and he's still with us. Selena was celebrating a birthday. Leonardo da Vinci, artist and inventor. Nikita Khrushchev, Soviet leader. Elizabeth Montgomery, actress. Pete Rose, former MLB star. Thomas Jefferson, our third U.S. president. F.W. Woolworth, this businessman. Butch Cassidy, American outlaw. Paul Sorvino, actor. Tiny Tim, the musician. Tom Clancy, the author. Vince Gill, a country singer. And Shannon Doherty also had a birthday this past week, or celebrate birthdays this past week. Didn't have any social media slays this week, but I wanted to point out some news of the weird for you guys. This first story, an unknown man in Chongqing, China, I hope I pronounced that right, was admitted to a hospital after suffering a persistent cough. Ade Central reported on April 9th, doctors noticed suspicious shadows in his right lung on scans, and a bronchoscopy showed that he had a fungal lung disease. The man admitted that he had developed a bit of a habit of smelling his dirty socks when he removed them at the end of the day. Doctors tested some of his worn socks and found the Aspergillus infection that caused the lung disease. So just keep that in mind for all of our sock sniffers and people who like little feet every now and then. I'm just saying. Okay. KFC has introduced a calorie-free and fluoride-free way to satisfy your chicken itch. Fried chicken flavored toothpaste. The New York Post reported on April 9th that the toothpaste flavor is inspired by all of KFC's 11 herbs and spices. The toothpaste is irresistible, coating your teeth in flavor before leaving your mouth feeling fresh and clean. KFC partnered with toothpaste manufacturer His Smile to produce the paste for a limited time. It's available on the His Smile website for $13 if it's not sold out. But wait, there is more. You can also snap up the KFC branded electric toothbrush, which will set you back $59. So just let you all know, in case you are that person that wants to get the whole kit and caboodle, there you go. So for at this point, we're talking about what? $73 what is it? $73, $72, whatever. Listen, you can have all the KFC and toothpaste and chicken feelings all over your teeth if you want. So no, that's all I got for this week's for these stories. And that's where we are this week.
Yeah, that's a negative for me, but thanks.
Tyra, you did not say biscuits and extra crispy. I mean,
as a cologne, maybe.
I don't even know if I want to do that as a cologne. His Smile does have a mango toothbrush, toothpaste, which is fine. Oh, okay. What's up, Eccentric? I saw you came in late. You said you had an Onyx meeting, so I'm glad you're in here. But a mango toothpaste? I might have to try that.
That might not be too bad, but I don't want to smell like chicken.
I'll get a bucket of chicken and rub a drumstick across my teeth for $19.99.
There you go. See, look at that. See how it works?
But listen, here's the thing. These buckets of chicken, $19.99, baby, they ain't gonna get you no bucket of chicken. That's gonna get you probably about 5 or 6 pieces of chicken. Exactly. They don't get you no bucket. Damn.
Well,
chicken.
All right, kids. It's been fun as always. Thank you all for coming out. We are we're about to get ready to start getting ready for our 300th show. It's going to be a live extravaganza on, what is it? Come on now, let's get the date right. Let's get the date. Come on, April, May, June. On Saturday, June 21st So it's get your coins together because there's going to be strippers. Epic's taking off all his clothes. He's coming back the champion from the best butthole in Detroit competition. Listen, we got to get funds for episodes 300 to 400.
Baby, listen, we need these funds. We need all the funds. So listen, have your friends come on in and subscribe, like and share all the above. Listen, tell all your friends about it. We trying to get to 400. We got to finance this. Come on now. We can't afterpay it.
That's actually what we need to do this weekend. We need to go and do a tour and start doing the planning. So let me get with best friend.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, best friend gave us some options before, but we got to go circle back around.
We know where it's going to be.
Well, okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, we do have options within that place, but yes,
that's correct.
All right. Well, thank y'all for coming out. God bless you.
Good night.
Bye.